So our top story this morning, and as always, fast-paced developments, as the new Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, has announced today that he will now be making a statement today, bringing forward measures from the medium-term fiscal plan to support fiscal sustainability.
Now, the announcement comes 2 weeks earlier than expected. It's not going to have all the details in it. We will still get that announcement on Halloween with more details, but we're going to get some today. And it could fast-track billions of pounds worth of tax and spending measures. Well,
it comes as Liz Truss faces yet more pressure this morning after 3 of her own MPs have publicly called on her now to resign.
Let's talk to our political correspondent, Tom Harwood, who's in Downing Street for us now. Who's running the show here, Tom? Number 10 and number 11?
Well, that is the question that is on everyone's lips, and I suppose it really depends who you ask. The Chancellor yesterday determined to say that the Prime Minister is still in charge, and yet he seems to have junked her entire economic strategy. Gone is the idea that we can borrow a little bit more over the next 3 years in order to get ourselves into a stronger growth situation. Gone is the line that the United Kingdom actually borrows less than all but one other major advanced economy in the world. The United Kingdom, of course, under the previous plans, was still scheduled to borrow less than America, than Canada, than Japan, than France, than Italy. And yet this has become a big change of tack, probably more due to the mood music than the specific policy. And yet we're going to see some pretty seismic announcements later on today. First, a statement from the Chancellor, and then a statement from the Chancellor to the Commons. 2 separate events. We're expecting the Commons event to take place at around 3:30 this afternoon, and that will mean that there will be many opportunities for members of Parliament to question the Chancellor in terms of answering that question you posed, but also many others. This was a surprise announcement this morning. It came into journalists' inbox at 6 a.m. It's important to note that's 2 hours before the bond markets open at 8. Clearly a big signal from the government trying to make sure that there isn't another big sell-off of government bonds by pension funds. Of course, the Bank of England's intervention ended last Friday, so this is now a big move from the Treasury to try and say that there's going to be more fiscal responsibility, that there will be fewer tax cuts. Indeed, we're expecting that the basic rate income tax cut will now be delayed. That's, I suppose, a saving to government or perhaps a cost to taxpayers of £5 billion. We're expecting perhaps some other measures as well, stripping out more and more of that mini budget. Now, that's a tricky measure, that 19 pence basic rate change, because of course that's a measure in the mini budget that the Labour Party supported. Where now will the Labour Party stand on this potential delay to that tax cut? Because to some extent it could be argued that at this present moment in time the Labour Party supports more elements of that mini budget than the Conservatives do.
Time to be alive. Tom, thank you very much for that analysis.